Welcome to Workstyle Stories, because life changes and every life is different. This week, we're talking about how our relationship with work can evolve and take us to completely different countries, environments, and completely different work as well. But before we get into that, I'd like to introduce our guest this week, and that's Louis. Hi, Louis.
Hi, how are you doing?
Very good, very good. Welcome to Workstyle Stories. Whereabouts are you?
I'm on a small island in the Philippines called Camiguin, and it's in the south of the Philippines.
It looks sensational, and you're putting my plant to shame here in the UK. It looks absolutely stunning. So tell us a little bit about what you do as well, who you are.
So I'm originally from Brighton. I worked in internal communications and health, safety, environment. And then actually I quit and did a master's in environmental management and did work as a freelance environment advisor before jumping on a plane to the other side of the world.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing a bit more about that. So before you moved, what was your work like then? Because presumably there was a big moment of change.
Yeah, there were kind of a few things that happened. I was, as I mentioned, working in internal communications. Really enjoyed that job, but I wanted to kind of make a difference. So I'm an environmentalist, and I moved into health, safety, and environment, thinking that was the right move, and with the hope to go into sustainability and maybe a couple of years down the line. That job was pretty stressful. There were some big changes happened in the company, and it became quite a stressful job. And then suddenly overnight, the company became a nuclear power company, which is against my kind of ethics.
Yeah, right.
So suddenly, expecting to be, let's say, a sustainability consultant, something like that, I was then working for a nuclear power company. So that started, obviously, getting the cogs turning a bit in my mind.
Yeah.
And then there was some management issues that caused further stress. And that's when I decided, okay, you know what, I need a break. And I just booked all the holiday I had left, and I went off to Nepal on my own. And just, absolutely had an amazing 10 days and it was in Nepal, sitting, basically staring at the Himalayan mountains, where I kind of thought, there's more to life than sitting in an aircon office under artificial lighting. And it's time for change. So I decided in Nepal that I was going to quit my job and study a master's.
Amazing. I think it's really interesting how when you're in work, everything can be great, but things can change, can't they? And if a company changes its line of work in such a manner as that, where it conflicts so heavily with your values, that can be a real warning sign, or can really jar and affect your relationship with work and cause a big change in the way that you describe. So that's really, really fascinating. So what happened with that then after that big decision point?
So then I also studied the master's and ended up on a remote island in Fiji during my master's, studying motives for illegal fishing. And that was a very interesting experience that made me realize I need to kind of learn to be able to spend more time with myself, not always be with people all the time. I was very, very active, going out, visiting friends all the time, always kind of, out of the weekends. So it was interesting. It's taken me a while to adjust. And now you see where I live. Actually, I'll show you with my cat. And actually today the chickens have come to say hello.
Amazing.
And then after my master's, there was a while where I was just, let's say, doing some various freelance work as environment advisor. But the plan was to get out and work in developing countries. So I picked Vietnam. because my mum was born in Vietnam. She was French Vietnamese. She grew up in France. Then met my dad in London. So I was born in the UK. So it's been on my mind for a long time to go to Vietnam, and for some reason it hadn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So when I decided to take the leap, I was like, okay, first stop, I have to step foot in Vietnam. Whatever happens after that happens, but I'm going to get my feet down on the ground there.
Amazing. How did you evolve your work from there then, from that location?
So from there, Ho Chi Minh City is super hectic, very, very noisy, very polluted. I was jet lagged, had a very hectic time, of course, before leaving the UK. And I just couldn't think. And I'm sitting there like trying to work in cafes or bars with the internet and just thinking like, what am I going to do in my new life? I cannot think. So I did a little bit of research. Fortunately, at the time, I had a friend in Ho Chi Minh, and we chatted about some different places. And I saw there was a place, Nha Trang, on the coast. As I said, I grew up in Brighton, so I was thinking I need the coast. And when I saw Nha Trang had a marine protected area and dive shops, I thought, okay, this is the place to go. So I, hopped on the night bus there, went around the dive shops and kind of started work the next day.
Wow.
In one of the dive shops. Yeah. And then I was offered an internship to become a scuba diving instructor. So I completed that, and then went to manage one of their dive centers for a while. And then after 2 years in Vietnam, which I had an amazing time, I just kept hearing about the Philippines. It's so famous for diving. So all the divers coming through the dive shop, the manager had been in the Philippines before. I was like, okay, you know what? I just have to go and check out the Philippines. So as it came up to low season in Nha Trang, I thought, let's go to Philippines. It will be high season starting, and I can immediately get work. So I flew to,
So you flew over there. So what's your work style like now then? I mean, this is fantastic.
So it's changed quite a lot. What I realized is diving that much, 4 or 5 times a day, every day, is super hard on your body. You're just exhausted at the end of the day. You're teaching, of course, you've got to keep that energy up to teaching. You've got to keep your eye on the students. You've also got to think about the students' safety. You're taking them down underwater, breathing from a tank of air on your back. So it's it can be very exhausting. And I knew I needed to have more of a balance, not be doing such a physical thing all the time. So I then decided to start doing some online work. So now I've had a big change in my life. Back in Brighton, I was, a real night owl. Now I'm waking up with the sun, which all my friends back at home will be shocked about. Then I get up and potter about a bit, do some stretching, have like a lime and warm water, and then maybe eat a bit of fruit, and then just start setting up my workstation and getting ready. And then I sit and have breakfast. So this kind of thing wouldn't be possible with the whole 9 to 5 having to get to work. I'm kind of able to spread my meals out, like just eating fruit separate, and then half an hour later having a lunch, so my work style very much fits around that. I teach English online as well as working for Hawkesby, so that I have lessons booked in through the day, and then I just fit other things in. Let's say one day I'm really in the mood for editing videos, so I'll work on my YouTube channel. Another day, I'm not in that kind of mood. Maybe I'll do more emails, admin. So I can just
brilliant.
Work through the day.
That sounds fantastic. Louis, you're the envy of many people, I'm sure. Thank you so much for sharing your work style story with us. We're going to have time, unfortunately. But great to meet you. We've been Workstyle Stories. Thanks once again, Louis. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.
Thanks for asking me.